Hi, I'm John Sylvia. Welcome to Neighborhood News, here with co-host Carlos Cesar. Carlos?
And yes, and it's Tuesday again, 7 o'clock. We are the Channel 95 and Neighborhood News. It's on the air again.
Yep, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Quero dar as boas-vindas à comunidade portuguesa. Cá estamos nós para mais um programa de notícias da sua vizinhança, hoje com mais convidados aqui em estúdio.
Okay, so last week's show we went to I don't know, we wouldn't call it a haunted.
I talked to you for a ride in a nice place.
But would you call it a haunted house?
I will call it a haunted house.
Because I know when we were there, people called it a haunted house, and I don't know if I'd call it a haunted house. But let's welcome Rick and Al, who are the owners of that, I guess, haunted house, right?
Haunted house.
What would you guys call it then? Because I know people were driving up calling it a haunted house,
well,
right?
It's different than it is in California. Here, when people say haunted house, what they expect is something to go inside and see the house. So that's what they mean by haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
Is the house haunted? I think so, but not in those terms.
Well, it looked like it was haunted from outside, for sure, you know.
Yeah.
When we
And
drove by.
I know you were amazed. It was your first time there.
I have to say, what I was amazed about, and you know, I grew up in the North End, but this is going back to the 80s. I lived way up in the North End near Airport Road. I was amazed. I didn't know that there were that many trick-or-treaters in the Highlands. It reminded me of the movie Halloween. Actually, the number of kids walking around, it was just like the movie Halloween, all these kids, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize, because you know, you were at my house before we went up there. I usually get like 25 trick-or-treaters, and he was like, let's go. My wife was there, and I'm like, no, we got more kids there, you know? We actually had got like 25 kids, but when I went up there, I was amazed. So.
Yep. We had to park a couple of blocks down because there was no parking.
No room.
And when you turned the corner, they said, "Well, look at that house." I said, "That's where we're going." So let's for those that missed last week's show. They can watch the show on YouTube. They call the Neighborhood News Show, and the show it's there, and on our Facebook too. But for those that missed our show there, we visit the house, and I have to thank you to allow our cameras inside your house and show the viewers the decorations that you put together, not just outside the house but inside the house, and we're going to talk a little bit about you as we did the first show. I know you were born in Fall River, right? And you're from California.
Central New Jersey.
New Jersey. But you lived you moved from California. Okay.
Right.
I got California right somewhere. You know? And how was the Halloween there?
In California?
Yes.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
Extremely quiet. 14 years, one kid.
Wow.
And that was it. It's not celebrated as much there as it is here.
Okay.
But you got to tell them where you were.
Well, yes, we were in a very rural area. We were actually on county property, beyond the town line. So we didn't have street lights, sidewalks, things like that. So it was not very conducive for kids to be walking around.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too surprising.
So this is like night and day from what we saw. It was absolutely night and day.
Making up for 14 years.
And how's the Halloween now?
Superb.
And we have some video that we're gonna show. Anthony's gonna put some video on, so people will see what Halloween night looks like at the mansion.
At Breezy Knoll.
Breezy Knoll.
Exactly. Okay. We saw a lot of friends there, so you invite a lot of friends over to scare people
and the family,
to hide somewhere, and they do a pretty good job. Right now, what we're watching is the house.
It's the front of the house, right?
Exactly, yes. And can you tell us who's on the windows?
Sure, Linda Blair from The Exorcist is in the upper right window. And now we're in the cemetery, one of the cemeteries. And this is leading up to the front porch.
Yes.
And you'll see the smoke coming out the roof. That's the old lady witch who rocks on the front porch. That little guy under the window is called Spasm. He's an escapee from an asylum. You'll see a spider under the pitch there on the front porch.
Here in the studio with the lighting, we cannot see the screen good, but people at home will have a really nice picture
Excellent.
of.
And there's some of our visitors.
How many you think this year?
We estimated about 2,300 trick-or-treaters.
But you know, the thing about that is we forget to add is we don't add the parents who bring kids. We only add the kids that we give candy
Right.
to.
Candy.
So you could look at probably 33,000, 31.
Maybe, with parents included.
Because you figure at least a third of the people who come are little kids with parents. And they're usually with both parents or friends. So, I mean, you could easily add another 1,000 or another 600, 700.
Oh yes, because every
You
kid,
saw
it's
how crazy it
yes,
was.
yes.
Right, and that doesn't count the cars who just drive by as
And
well.
we can see right here that the crowd.
That's the crowd.
Yes, I mean it's all the way to the sidewalk, and they not line up in one line.
Yep.
They in bunches.
Yep.
You know, they're in bunches. You're probably giving candy 2, 3 kids at a time.
Yeah, very quickly.
Just to keep the line moving.
Exactly, very
quickly.
quickly. And I saw, and we will show here somewhere. We will show you directing traffic.
Yep,
It was a busy night, no?
very busy, very busy. And I was actually quite pleased that the local police drove by 3 times.
Yes.
They saw me directing traffic, and their only comment was, "Doing a good job, thank you."
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So no issues. There's my devil in the window. And up there's a creature who just sways back and forth.
So these are actually characters. I actually thought it was somebody in the window.
No, some of them are
animated.
characters from films,
Okay.
and some of them are just creepy ghouls and zombies and so forth that have some animation. That's our newest addition. We call her Angelina.
Angelina.
She swings back and forth in the cemetery.
Yes. And that's the trees back there that the people was hiding.
Yeah.
And scaring
And
people.
jumping out, yeah.
Yeah.
And they had stuff like that in the cemetery too. That it wasn't people, but they were.
My grandson is one who gets in the cemetery.
Oh,
He gets a
really?
big kick
Oh,
out of
wow.
it.
He loves it every
Oh,
year.
yes. He was a scarecrow
He just
this year.
becomes so still, and people don't expect someone that small, and he will just grab them, and
Yes.
they're gone.
I mean, it's not just the Halloween contest. People really pay money to see this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some places people pay
they
money
would,
to
yeah.
see this,
They would.
and you have open to the public, and and they really everybody. It's like you coordinate everybody where the places they're going to be, where they're going to be hiding, and everything. It's a show.
But it's also a safety issue. We put people in positions not just to scare people,
Yes.
but in the places where they might get injured, where there's wires and
Exactly.
cables, and so no one gets hurt.
So they double as corpses / security.
Yes.
Or dead cops.
One of one person there that he really liked it, and he took pictures with him was the.
Yeah, I like Halloween. I thought Halloween was cool. The guy Michael
Myers.
Myers from Halloween.
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
My
fantastic.
nephew. My
That's
was
our
it?
nephew, the
that was-
security guy,
That was
you bet.
fantastic
My
to
nephew.
have.
He was right across the street from.
No, there was one in our cemetery.
Right.
Okay.
There's another one who visits every year. He's a bit slighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
This year there was a third Michael Myers who pulled up in a red SUV
Okay.
and had the theme song from Halloween
yeah.
as
Okay.
well as Michael Jackson's Thriller,
Yes.
which I had planned to do, but my disc wasn't working, so he supplemented the event.
Oh really? So it's not just you putting people there now. It's people coming from
People
the
gonna show up
neighborhoods
and join in.
and join in
Yeah.
and have fun. I mean it's amazing how many kids.
You know, the wonderful thing is now that we've done it several years, is the people who come back and expect that you remember them. And they have costumes and makeup. You remember me? And I always say yes.
Yes.
I always say yes.
Yeah.
We have 2 young men who show up with their parents every year, and the 2 boys are dressed in camouflage, not fatigue camouflage, but they're covered in leaves and so forth, and they usually crouch down at the end of the sidewalk as bushes and wait for people to walk by. So they've
Yeah.
kind of joined in the fun
Yes.
as well.
Here you are.
There's the
There you
traffic
go. Yeah.
director.
There you go.
It's the first chance I've got to see me in the costume.
It did a very good job there. I mean, it's very crowded, a lot of people.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And the traffic, I mean,
You can see the crowd on the
yes,
side. Look at
the
it.
sidewalks are
Look at it.
full. Here's
All the way to the house, too.
yes, yes,
See, my concern for the traffic in the street is I don't want anybody to get hurt,
Yep.
yeah, exactly,
but I don't want people to delay and stay there
Stay
because
there,
they're
yeah.
blocking traffic down
exactly.
Highland Avenue, and I want to make sure it's clear for the hospital.
And I noticed that you had a couple of people stopping to drop off people, and you're like, you know,
that happens frequently.
And then they want to wait.
And they want to
Exactly.
wait, and I say, please just pull up. You'll meet them at the other side.
Exactly, because if they're going to wait until the line it's done to get some
Look, you can
candies.
see the line.
Yes, it's right on the street, right there. We can see it.
Great for me
right-
to see some of the costumes, too, because I don't get a big chance to see who's coming unless they're behind me.
Just like I don't leave that seat for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yeah. But you do have people there helping you. You
Oh,
know,
yes.
Yeah,
passing
my
on the
grandkids
candies.
Nieces,
will show up and
nephews,
want to relieve
grandkids,
me. And when it
in-laws.
slows down, I let them take over.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. So
Everybody comes to
what
play.
time you were done this year?
We finished a little early this year, actually, around 9:15.
Yeah.
Usually we get a steady flow for 3 hours, 6:30 to
Yes.
9:30. This year it seemed to come in 3 big waves. It was a lot of people, then a lull, then a lot of people, then a lull. But about 9:15, folks started kind of drifting off.
It might have
So
been
about
a storm.
9:30. It might have been
Yeah,
a storm, and a lot
yes,
of people didn't
I
have
think so.
power, so
Yes,
Last
Getting
year was
out.
10:15 when
Yep.
we finished.
Wow.
So it was a whole other hour.
yes, yes.
But we still had the intensity of the volume because we could tell by the amount of candy we gave out. There was still the volume. They were just earlier and
So was this year the busiest one, or was it slower compared to last year, would you say?
busy.
Busy?
it was busier in volume,
Okay.
just in a different way.
Okay.
It just seemed to come in 3 big droves, and then we had a little downtime in between, which was nice.
Can rest, yeah. I notice when you get
There's
down...
Myers you were talking about.
One of them.
Not Highland, the next corner from there was some folks
Pierce?
too. It was Pierce, yeah. On that corner house, they were out in costumes too, and they had some horror music. So you guys are kind of,
Oh,
I guess,
before us.
yeah,
Before us on Highland?
uh,
On the opposite side of the
yeah, on
street.
the opposite side,
Yep.
yeah, a little
Across
further
the
down. So
street,
yeah,
yeah.
they're trying to, and maybe they're trying to compete. I don't know if they.
No, not at all.
They came about 4 years ago and challenged us.
Yes.
They don't come back. The challenge is over.
No, they know what we're working with, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they should work with you, and then you guys could get
They
the.
should. There's another house on the other side of President Avenue that did say that to us last year, is we can't compete anymore.
Yeah.
Join forces.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
No, I mean you have a lot of stuff. You put up a lot of stuff, and you know it's a big area too. You cover a big area, and then you need to have a big family to give you the support too.
Oh, we do.
And
they're
they-
there.
they-
They're
And
they-
inside,
and-
they're on the porch, they're all around.
That is the little Michael Myers.
I was
He's a
going
new
to say,
figure
I
Yes.
saw that. That was cool.
He
Yes.
started this-
That's the one we saw inside the house, right?
Yes, that's the one.
Last
My
week,
sister-in-law actually made that costume for that model for this night.
And my sister, I know, she's very good at creating those kinds of things.
There's Michael Myers.
That's my Michael Myers.
Okay, cool.
And there are
That's,
two others
that's our
floating
nephew.
around.
That's our nephew Eric.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, when I was there, it reminded me of Halloween. I lived in New Bedford, Fairhaven, and we would go to my grandfather's house and go to Dartmouth. He lived there, and that's how Halloween was, minus the haunted house thing. But there were that many kids walking around.
Really?
It was just crazy. So it kind of reminded me when I was a kid.
yeah, I
minus
mean-
the haunted house portion. If I was a kid, that would have been cool. It's, not that it wasn't now, but I didn't see that when I was a kid.
I think that you had more than 3,000 people.
Oh, I
there.
think so.
yeah.
You know,
I
you
think
had
so.
more.
We never counted parents before.
Exactly, because sometimes you have more than a couple adults with a kid.
Sure,
You know,
they have a
and-
little baby.
Exactly, and that the front of the house was constantly people walking by and big lines to get candy.
Yeah.
And
Well, when we were coming up from, the Pierce Street, that's where
Yes.
we had parked when were coming up, there were kids, you could see it as soon as you rounded the corner, and kids were, wow, look at that house, they were all running toward it.
yes,
So it's something that people can see for a block or two away, for sure.
and this year definitely you had a lot of cries too.
Oh, my
I saw
God.
you.
Yes, yes.
I saw a lot of
A lot
kids
of
and big
screaming.
kids.
Really?
They
Oh,
got
yeah.
babies.
I think
They're
the
big
teenagers
kids.
are worse than the than the 7 or 8 year olds.
Yes.
Who kind of get a little,
Yes.
retiring. But the older kids are aggressive, and then they absolutely freak out and run.
Yes.
Especially the girls. Girls love to scream. So
Yes, right. But it is
Well, if I could mention too, there was a nice article in the Herald News on this. I'm sure you
Yes.
both had seen it. It was very nice to see. And again, it's nice to see a positive story. This is something that's really great to see, and we need to have more of this in Fall River. And you know, I know I'm not a little kid. I thought this was like great. It made my Halloween. I like giving the candy out for the kids, but
Yes.
this is great. So
That's a lot of work.
yeah, it is a lot of work.
Kids
But
to pass
But
on
see,
candy.
I'm still a kid.
Yeah.
So that's why it's always a
You
good
kind of
holiday
have
for
to
me.
be a kid. if
Yes,
you're gonna do
yes,
it.
Yeah. It
yes.
has
Oh,
to
let
be
that
inside
party you
somewhere.
come
It-
out.
It's one of the seasons that I like in Halloween. Definitely, it's a day that I enjoy. How much candy we talked about this year?
You bought 3,500
About 3,500 pieces of candy. I spent just under $200.
just for the
just for
candy.
candy. I
Just
was going to
for
say just for
candy.
And the
candy.
fencing was $750.
The fence was $750. There's some of the additional features that were added this year. So
Yes.
kind of get up there.
So the whole if we talk about the whole thing, how much is your investment?
This year or altogether?
The whole thing, the total
Altogether?
of, yes.
You're talking about 5, 6.
Talking about $5,000 to $7,000
Yeah.
over the last 8
Yeah,
years.
over the last, yeah.
Yes,
so that's,
yes,
yeah.
but-
And a lot of them have been replaced.
Exactly.
Right. I
exactly.
changed the
But
inventory
it's-
so I can feature what
It's
I
an
want each year.
inventory.
Well, like
It is.
smoke,
It's an inventory.
smoking machines that break down, I don't know how to fix them, so
Yes.
replace
It's
them.
easier.
Yes.
And the windows, those lights, is that just like a red light that you have in there?
That is one of the easiest things to do.
Okay.
You take a red floodlight bulb,
Yeah.
put it on the floor, aim it at the window.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Basta.
Cool. Yeah, it makes
And the
it
whole
look-
house lights up red. And then the window features, some of them had blue spotlights on them
Okay.
that would separate them from the rest of the
Yeah,
window.
but to get that effect, you have lights around the house. You had on
All
the trees.
over. On
You
my
had
desk,
you
on
had
trash baskets.
Right. There are-
to get that effect. You have
posts.
lights everywhere.
Yes, there are
Every
uplights
room.
that surround the stone wall of the house.
Yes.
There are lights in the cemetery that light up the tombstones.
Okay.
There are strobes in the tree and in 2 of the plots, and then by 1 tree that create the lightning effect, which is all electronic.
And the whole effect from far looks like the house is shaking.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like the house is.
It looks like it's shivering.
Yes.
Let me
yes.
ask you this too. You know, we had the hurricane, you know, the day before. So did you have to take a lot of that stuff down before?
We,
And then-
we had the party on Saturday night, which was before the storm, and Saturday around 10:30, 11 o'clock, we took in anything that could potentially be damaged. The tombstones are styrofoam, they'd snap in half. The lighting stays out and the fences stay out. And then on Wednesday morning, the report was it was going to rain until about 3. I think it stopped raining about 1:30. So we got busy and just rebuilt everything back up, put it in, and then 10:30 that night we took it all down.
I can imagine what the house looked like inside during the hurricane.
Oh,
Looks
yeah.
like the hurricane was inside the
It
house,
looks like
not
it's
outside the house.
all the bodies were waiting to get back in the cemetery.
Yes.
They're all lined
So
up.
you have zombies all over the place.
all over the place.
But it's a great thing if you talk to yourself because nobody can blame you. You can always say, "Oh, I was talking to somebody there."
Exactly. And let me ask you this. I mean, you have a goal. This year, you got your goal. You got the kids were more than last year. And where are we going from here? What's your next goal?
5,000.
My ultimate
Can
goal.
you stand at the door for 5,000
We
kids?
can do it. We can do it. We can do it.
My ultimate.
They
goal.
won't know. They won't know if you fit because your face already white. So.
You could be passed out there.
No.
No, my goal is just to put on a good show for Halloween because I get such a kick out of it. I'd be disappointed if not many people showed up, but I
Yes.
think now it's gotten so much publicity and people are aware of it
Yes.
that we get our repeat offenders every year that come back and
Yes.
say, I had to come back because I didn't know what you were going to do.
Yes. And all the exposure that the house got this year, I bet next year you're
Oh,
going to have a
goodness.
lot of
Next
new.
year will be
Oh, goodness.
interesting.
Yes, and I hope we still are around so we can go back again
That'd
and
be wonderful.
We'd
for
love to have
Halloween
you
and,
again.
and,
Very wonderful.
and do something again to promote and to let people know about the
And to see what's changed, absolutely.
And it's
Exactly.
going to have to be more creative now that people are looking. So
Yes,
it's
yes.
going to have to be a little hyped up a little more.
Do you have something that you like to get next year?
The only thing I was planning to do next year was get a little more sophistication on the technology.
Okay.
Because I actually wanted to this year be able to find a system that would allow me to turn on certain lights in the house based on certain music that was playing.
Okay.
So that as the Halloween music was playing from the movie, it would build suspense by lighting one floor, the next floor, then the next
I
floor. And then
see.
having a kind of a
cool.
mismatch thing just to
Yes.
draw attention.
Probably the equipment you can get it for Christmas now, because they do sell the equipment that, you know, the house lights with music.
Yeah.
So that they sell that in Christmas.
We'll see what
Probably
Santa has
you
to
can
say.
start. You can
But we
start.
also, right, are going to put a cable from the tree to the house so we have a flying witch. that
What do
can
you
go
want?
back.
We want something flying over
Okay.
the
So they
ground.
come down over the people and go up and then back.
Okay, I have to call Universal Studios then.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe they have some equipment we could have.
Yeah, we actually have
Something
found
they
one.
used in movies, and it's there.
Exactly.
Somewhere they don't use it anymore,
We'll
so
take
you
it.
guys could use it.
Like
but
we said,
funny.
is there a grant available?
I'm sure there is somewhere, right?
Today it's grants for everything, so probably.
Exactly.
For Christmas, it's anything in mind for Christmas?
Christmas is more a light show than anything,
Okay.
and it's very tastefully done.
Yes.
There's nothing outrageous.
Yes. So you don't
But
have
it
Santa
is-
Claus passing on the
No.
candies.
No, it's just big Christmas trees.
It's just
Yes.
the wreaths, the lights, the candles.
It's
and the
taking advantage of the beauty, natural beauty of that
Exactly,
house.
exactly.
That's what that is.
And I saw the picture of years before that
Right.
what you have done with the. It's worth it, you know, a drive by and see the decoration for Christmas.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Because you do a nice
we do it
job.
Victorian. We do it
Exactly.
quiet. We don't do a lot
And
of
it looks
flashing
just like
lights.
a postcard. The picture I saw from Christmas, it's worth it a drive by and see the house.
Well, in the past, you had said you were part of the Preservation Society, does the holiday
Right.
thing in the past. So.
As a matter of fact, that photograph that we had showed you was taken last year, about 2 weeks before Christmas, and used in a seasonal display at the Preservation Society, no, the Historical Society,
Cool.
among other houses that were featured in Fall River for their decoration for the Christmas season.
And on the house, I'm just curious, any history, you have any history of the house?
History of the house?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yes, it was built for a Mr. Edward H. Brow, who started in Fall River as a bookkeeper, and then eventually became a cotton broker in the mills, and built the house in 1892. He lived there with his wife and young daughter, who eventually inherited the house when she married, and then it's changed hands about 7 more times, 8 more times before it came to us. We're the 9th owner of the house. We do know from census records who the servants in the house were. So for those haunted experiences that we have every now and then, we blame it on Maggie and Margaret, who used to work in the house many, many years ago.
Yeah, we have experienced some bizarre things.
Oh, really?
Footsteps footsteps that
Fans
sound on
turning
bare
on.
wood on carpeted steps, radio volumes going up and down by themselves, fans turning on and off.
Did you try to call the hunters?
No.
No, we just speak very nicely to the ghosts and hope for the best.
Oh, really?
No, they like us.
Then they,
seem friendly.
then they must like it.
They must.
Yeah, they
There's
must
nothing.
like you.
There's nothing ominous or evil about what happens. So I just chalk it up to somebody else's spirit is still there, and that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
So when was the house built, out of curiosity?
1892.
1892 then. All right, so
Right.
like you said, nothing bad's happening, so I guess the owners must have treated the help fine then, right?
They must have.
Hopefully.
Must
They
have.
didn't want to leave.
It's just the maids, they love the house so much, they don't want to leave.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They
That's
don't want to
good,
leave.
they're
so-
working for free for you.
There you go.
And they love the
They're turning
Halloween.
your lights on, they're
They
working.
wait for the extra Halloween candy.
Wait for Halloween.
If there's any left, they're there.
But we want to end the show, and I have again to thank you. You know, it was worth it. My knock at your door
Thank
last
you.
month.
It was
and,
indeed.
Thank you.
And,
For us too.
and kind of invite myself into your house and show.
Yeah, no, it was nice.
The job you
It's
do.
nice, and I thank you. You know, it was great going there, and I thank you for doing this for all the people of Fall River, because you know there were a lot of people there, and I'm sure they appreciated it too. And we need, again, like we say,
Maybe a few don't like that all kind of movement there. We always have in the streets. We all have one that don't like what we do.
No, we got only one egg though this year,
One
which
egg.
was a good sign. We
see?
usually always get egg because you invite that kind of stuff. But we only got one this year, so that was a good sign. We thought, well, we're down from 3 and 5, and
I'm
really?
surprised. I would think that people would be doing that, thinking it was cool. You know what I mean? That they
Yes,
wouldn't do that.
yes.
So that's
yeah,
surprising.
well, let's get
Yeah.
just one. That's not bad.
That attracts a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
you're right. 1 out of 3,000, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
bad. Pretty good
And
odds.
I think the reason is the cost of food has gone up. That helps. The economy's been an asset.
That's true.
But
That's true.
they could open the doors and send them to you. So that's where I have my candy, right there.
That's right.
Just go look
Absolutely.
for candy.
Right.
Very good. So, John,
Yeah, another show, and again, thank you for
thank
doing
you.
this.
Thank you
Thank you.
again.
Thank you
for
for
being
being part of it. We certainly had a good time.
Thank you. And we are done
show.
for this week.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we be back next week with one more guest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Thank you. Have a good
Thanks.
night.
Have a good night.